Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I hope everyone is enjoying the conference. I'm very excited to be here with everyone today. My name is Brian Minick, and I'm here from ZeroBounce. And today we'll go over a session on how to reach the inbox and boost your email ROI and kind of everything you need to know about deliverability. That's what we're going to go over today. So just a little background on myself. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at ZeroBounce. I've been there for coming up on 5 years now. My background has always been in marketing and technology. I have over 15 years of experience in this field. I currently oversee all of our support team and sales functions, as well as systems and operations. But because of it, I'm heavily involved with our customers and also very involved with the product. And so therefore, I really have a great understanding of deliverability and kind of all the tools and tricks and tips that you might need in order to kind of help yourself with that. So that's what I plan to share with everyone today. And again, thanks for joining. Really appreciate it. So a little bit about ZeroBounce. We are a online email validation platform. We're a software as a service company. We're servicing over 200,000 clients, and these are customers all across the world. We're servicing massive brands like you can see here on the screen, as well as smaller brands, mom and pop stores, and even just a single entrepreneur who's trying to figure out email. So whatever your needs might be, it's something that we can obviously help you with here. And I just want to show a sampling of some of the logos and companies that are using services like ours and using ZeroBounce in order to kind of help themselves with deliverability and data hygiene. We are known as the #1 email verifier, and it's something we're really proud of as a portion and extension of our support team and the quality of the product. So with that, let's get started. I always really like to start with a definition and kind of thinking and make you guys think a little bit here. But email delivery versus email deliverability, what is the difference? And are you familiar with these terms? So let's just start at the basics here. Email delivery, this is a term that you'll often see from the ESPs. This is when an email has been sent. Poof, it's gone. Right? So your platform, you hit send, it fired those emails out and delivered. But what you don't know here, and what you're never really gonna get from your email service providers, is where did this email land? And by that I mean, did it land in the inbox? Did it land in the spam folder? Or was it blocked altogether and it was never even received at all? So email delivery is a very loose term, heavily loved by the ESPs because they always shoot out these really great percentages, like 99.8% delivered. Well, that's great. That is good. But where did it go? And so that is the kind of shift here in the term to deliverability, which is, and what you need to really be focusing on is getting into the inbox, because delivered doesn't mean to the inbox. Delivered means delivered somewhere. And so the rest is kind of the unknown part. What we want to do, and what I want you guys to be focusing on, is getting into the inbox, because that is really the key, and that will really help you boost all of your ROI. So why should you care? This obviously is probably an obvious question you can ask yourself and kind of answer, but we did some polling data, and we kind of went out to our sources and crowd and went and got some information, and we're seeing an average of 121 emails every day as a worker is getting. And if you're anything like me, who's running a business, it is much higher than that. And so 121 is an average. But for somebody like me, and probably most of us here today, this is something that's going to be a lot higher. So we also did some information and checking here, and people are checking their spam folder only a few times per year. And I'm seeing this number dramatically decrease, at least within myself, and probably with most of you. We're just sick of it. I have enough emails in my inbox. I don't check my spam folder unless somebody told me specifically to go check it because they sent me something and I didn't get it, or at least I didn't know they sent it. Then that's the only time I'm really checking it. And so spam folder is as good as the trash can as far as I'm concerned. And 16% of all emails are going to the spam folder. I actually think this might even be a low number because we're including transactional data and things of this nature, which will generally inbox. And so basically your inbox competition is incredibly intense. There's people who are fighting for it and fighting for that placement, and you have to land there in order to convert. One of the biggest things that we always talk about here at ZeroBounce is quality over quantity. And so you have to make sure that you are getting your message and your emails into the inbox so that people are seeing them. Otherwise, it's really just kind of a big waste of effort and time. So let's go through some tips, how you're going to reach the inbox and how you're going to boost your email ROI. You definitely want to be engaging and converting with your audience. And so how do we do that? Number one, you really have to be doing this, and you have to be verifying your email list on a regular basis. The reason for this is because you are probably experiencing or have experienced high bounce rates or higher than what we would consider normal bounce rates. These are, so anything over a 2% bounce rate will start to hurt your sending reputation. And the reason is because the mail servers out there, they're really starting to believe that you're not a good sender, because why would you be bouncing so many emails? Now, obviously, we all come from different businesses and we all have different tactics and all of this. However, we probably all have been collecting or have acquired data at some point. And so if you've been collecting emails over time and you think about just the last few years in the world, in the business world, and obviously in the personal space here, emails on the business side are seeing heavy churn. And we really have to make sure that you are cleansing out those email addresses that are no longer able to accept mail, because otherwise you're just going to send an email to them and it's going to bounce. It's definitely going to affect your sending reputation, and you have to get those off your list. So ISPs, or the different internet service providers, as well as the mail servers, they're looking at your sender reputation in order to understand where they might want to place your email, because maybe they don't have activity on you, or they don't really know you. Maybe you're not a known sender, or maybe you are. Either way, you want to be able to check your sending reputation and make sure that you're as good as it can be and as healthy as it can be, therefore helping you, increasing your chances to get into the inbox. If it's really bad, it'll get blocked altogether. You won't even make it to the spam folder, which is a giant, giant waste of time. The higher the score, the better your email deliverability. This is just how some of the games work. So how do we do that? How do we check our sending reputation? Or how do we know if my domain has a good reputation? We really like Google's Postmaster tool. You can go to postmaster.google.com, configure your domain to start getting monitoring. And this will give you everything from domain reputation to IP reputation, spam rate complaints, the bounces. All of this will start to come in here, and you'll be able to get a very good idea of where your reputation is. And this is something that, again, all of these providers are looking at in their own way about you. And they're doing this to determine what they should do with your emails that you're sending, because it is their job to filter out emails that they believe you do not want or did not expect to receive. That is their job. And so ultimately, reputation is going to play a huge role on this. No different than you going to a mechanic or a great restaurant for the first time. Most people nowadays are looking at reviews. It is very similar to a reputation of a sender. You really want to have 5-star reviews and lots of good things and all of that nature. And so this is a good way to do it in the virtual world, in the email space world. So we really like Google Postmaster, and we use it at ZeroBounce to monitor all of our reputation. So how do you check your reputation and monitor it? Well, we really like at ZeroBounce, we use Google Postmaster, and it's a really nice tool that you can use and configure your domain to check against it. And what you're able to monitor here is your domain reputation, and you would see it would give you some levels of, is it a high reputation, medium, low, or bad? You can also do things like check and monitor your spam rate complaints, your IP reputation, and ultimately you get a kind of a sender score out of this. And so it's a really, really nice tool that you want to make sure that you have set up in order to kind of check and make sure that your reputation is as high as it can be. A high sending reputation is really what's going to also help you get into the inbox. If you have a bad sending reputation, and you can see it here in a dashboard that you have control of, you have some major problems, and we got to get them fixed. And so you definitely want to come in here and get an idea of what's going on. And most people don't even know these types of tools exist. So check it out, hook your domain up to it, and get an idea of what's going on with your reputation out here in the sending world. So we also did, and one thing I want to share is we did a really nice case study with Bruce here over at Image Source. He came to us after he had a 19% bounce rate And this is someone who's acquired his data over time. He's always collected emails. He's been in business for a while. And he knew that his list just might be questionable or just might be old. And so he came to us and said, hey guys, I think I have some issues here, some old emails. I don't know what's good. I don't know what's bad. And I know it's important to make sure I'm getting into the inbox. So he came to us and we just decided we're going to just help him out and also build a case study around it for you guys so everyone can see. And what we found here, once we ran his email list, which was about 100,000 emails in total that he had on his database, only 45% of that came back as a valid and a safe email to send to without any concerns of issues from his platform to send it. And so just this is a very high level overview of what a service like validation would provide as output. And so the big kicker here was that he had a 21% invalid rate, meaning the 21% of his email database was essentially useless. For most people and most companies today's world, email addresses are your unique identifier for your customer. And so making sure that you have, and it's your main point of contact for most people as well. Not everyone's giving phone numbers in today's world. We're all sick of the spam calls. And so, to have 21% of his email list go invalid, while that was a little mentally crushing for him, it was incredibly successful to help him with his marketing campaigns and to help make sure he got into the inbox because he did send campaigns and had a 19% bounce rate. So those type of bounce rates can really, really affect you, but you need to just do something about it. You can't just ignore it. So he came to us, we cleaned it up, and some of the other categories that we're able to just detect for people are these abusers, these are known complainers and spam traps, catch-alls, which can be a little bit more risky, and some do not mail category that we have as well. But I'll talk a little bit more about that here in a second. And so a lot of there's risky emails that are really just in people's list that they just aren't aware, and it's not your fault. There's no real indicator here on the email address if something might be good, bad, or ugly. It's just not out there. And so what we've done is we've put together collections of feeds and databases and all the things that we are also able to do, as well as validate to help you understand the type of emails in your list. So we are identifying abuse emails. These are also sometimes called complainers. These are the people who are marking as spam. So we're getting signal and intent data feeds in, and we're able to see once an email has had 10 or more people, so 10 or more sends marked as spam, and that becomes really detrimental to your campaign if they're not expecting your email. And so we're able to detect those type of people, and we'll give it back to you as a data point, so you can make a decision if you want to email them or not. Now, they are real people. They're just people who are known to mark as spam instead of unsubscribing. I want to preface that. Marking as spam versus unsubscribing is totally different. When people mark as spam, it's hurting your reputation. It's lowering your sender score. And ultimately, if enough of it happens, a lot of problems occur. If somebody just unsubscribes from your marketing campaign, it's really not a problem. It's okay. You should be okay with it. It's actually considered engagement. That email was opened and that email was clicked. And so it's better that they unsubscribe than they mark as spam. So always make sure you have the opt-outs. Don't bury them. Don't use old tactics that people tried to do. Get rid of them. And so let them get out if they want to get out. Disposable emails is another one that really just have no marketing value. And these are emails that people don't even think about. So there are services out there that have emails that you can quickly create on the website, and they will self-destruct in 10 minutes, 1 hour, 24 hours, whatever it might be. They will self-destruct. And so people will use these to get past your gated content. They'll use them to get your coupons or a coupon from a third-party site. We've seen people use these as kind of anonymous ways to get their information into whatever they're trying to submit it to. And so it's okay to collect them, but it's really not good to market to them because ultimately you're going to get a bounce. And so we want to get those out as well. Some of the other categories, which I'll go through a little bit quicker here, are the role-based. These are people that they're generally group emails such as info, sales at, support at. And the issue with these here is that they're usually going to groups of people, and now you're increasing your ability to get marked as spam because most likely Not all of them want your email. Catch-alls, there's a domain level setting on B2B emails, and it just gets complicated here. But catch-alls, some of these are valid and some are very prone to bouncing. And so you want to kind of sift through those carefully, but they can be a problem. Spam traps, these are ones that they're just really terrible for anyone in marketing. They're created by the email providers or the ISPs, and they are put onto websites to intentionally get scraped and put into these purchased email lists that people are buying all the time. And when you send to it, it just immediately blacklists you. This then becomes incredibly difficult to get off. It creates lots of headaches and lots of issues for your sending and for your campaigns. So spam traps are a big no-no. Unfortunately, I've even seen competitive, competitors trying to submit these type of emails to their competitors in order to really ruin their marketing and emails. It's terrible and it's out there. I'm just telling you some of the things that we've seen. And so pay attention to this stuff and make sure you understand if you have one of these, because you have to get it off. So just to recap here on validation, you definitely want to make sure that you're cleaning your list if you haven't in 3 or more months. You want to make sure that your bounce rate is no higher than 2%. So if you are, you need to clean the database. There's a problem with it. Your spam complaints need to be low, 1 out of every 1,000, 0.1%. You do want to make sure people are unsubscribing over marking you as spam, and you want to identify people that might mark you as spam and maybe not send to them if that doesn't make sense for your business. And you regularly just want to make sure that you're cleaning them. So, as you continue 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, we have to go back and check. And so just remember how many people are changing jobs in today's world, and we have to make sure that we're getting those emails out that are no longer going to accept mail. So tip number 2, testing your email deliverability. This is definitely something that can help you, and it's a proactive thing that you would do before you send any emails out to your actual database. And so when you test your email, you're testing if it lands into the inbox folder or to the spam folder, or it's not delivered. Most people are testing their emails today, but they are doing it in a manner of they're testing the content, and they're testing the rendering on a cell phone, and they're testing the image. Does it look okay? All of that is great. You should continue to do that. But I highly recommend you add another step here, which doesn't have to be a big step. It can be simultaneous as you're checking content, but add some more CCs, which ZeroBounce, we have a product for this for the inbox placement tester. And what this does is we provide seed accounts so that you can go ahead and send your campaigns to us before you send it to your database and get an idea of where these are landing. So how it works, again, we have 20 some odd emails that you can send to. These are with the popular providers. This is really a good practice, because what you might find is you're going into the inbox on a lot of the big providers, but then one big one, such as Gmail, if you're going to the spam folder there, that can be really, really detrimental towards the performance of your campaign. But you said to yourself, well, I have a Gmail account. It goes to the inbox. That is not fair. That's a biased opinion and way to think about this, because your Gmail is configured, and you might have pulled it out of spam at one point. It's used to seeing you, and so it's you and your personal emails are not good tests for this. You need somebody neutral, somebody that is not used to seeing your email, and someone that is not moving the email around based on activity, which is something like we have. So you want to make sure you set these up. You just add this to your test list, and then we'll give you an idea back of how many are going to the inbox and how many are going to the spam folder or blocked altogether. So you definitely want to be able to do this. And the point is, it gives you the ability to fix something before you send the email to everybody. So fixing a deliverability issue before you send is key. So this is no different than the email renders completely wrong. If it went to the spam folder, no one's going to see it, and they're just going to leave from your email anyway. So use a service that you can do inbox placement testing with, because it'll really give you some valuable insights and give you the ability to kind of retest and see if you're able to move that email into the inbox based on anything from your wording to your content to your links, and see if you can move that email out of the spam folder and into the inbox. Another really nice tip that I like to talk about is segmentation, and how you can use segmentation to to really boost your ROI. So when I think about segmentation, I think about it in a way that is probably much deeper than many of us generally think about it. When you segment your email list, a lot of people do have some behaviors, such as the location where maybe they're signing up or shipping a product to. Gender might play a role. Purchase behavior might play a role. If you have someone that's always buying, maybe they're just a hot buyer, you should send them a different message than someone who has not purchased from you in 2 years, for example. And so what we do, and even at ZeroBounce, we use this. We create segments and we automate those segments based on rules. So when people create an account, but they don't make a purchase, for example, we might send them more guides on, have you checked your email list? Have you ran a sample? Have you gotten ideas on how the current status of your database might be? And then we personalize the message towards that. And so it is more work, absolutely, but it is proven to increase your ROI because you're creating something that somebody actually should connect to in some sort of way, or you have a much better chance. And so when you segment based on the behaviors, or location or gender is a good one. I'm buying shirts lately from a website, and for some strange reason, they keep sending me women's clothes to shop on my email, and I just can't understand why they would do that. Versus sending me men's shirts, maybe different colors than the ones I've already purchased, and saying, "Hey, since you like that, maybe you'll like this one instead." Or as well. And so it's really important. I definitely want to stress this here to go ahead and try to come up with ways to segment your data. And even if you have nothing, that is something where ZeroBounce can really actually help you out as well. And I'll talk a little bit more about that here in a second. But here's a nice example from Sephora. And what they basically are just saying here is, hey, you purchased X, maybe you'll like this one also. And they're sending this and putting it right into my inbox, right? So imagine I love this cologne, or I love, my wife loves this perfume, and then they have tags in their system to automatically say, well, this one is, a complementary product to something like this. And then all they do is say, hey, well, they purchased, this. Let's give them options for another set of related content and related products. This is highly, highly something that people want to see. They'll get excited about this. They'll go, whoa, I never knew about this. And they'll be much more likely to open your emails and click your emails, which again are going to heavily boost your sending reputation, which then helps your overall marketing strategy when it comes to email marketing. So segmenting is something that's going to be really important. At ZeroBounce, we have the ability to also help you segment if you have nothing about your database. If all you have is the email address, we can still help you segment in some sort of way. We have known activity on a lot of a lot of email addresses, and we're able to at least tell you who we know is engaging with email in a certain time frame. And so that's another way to think about segmentation, and another way just to think about your overall marketing. But what I'm really encouraging here is that you take a minute, you start to break down some of your people into buckets, because then you fine tune the content for those buckets. And that's when you really start to convert more. You're going to see higher click-through rates. You're going to see higher sales and higher redemptions of whatever you're trying to accomplish here through email. So, if you're targeting the right people with the right message, this is going to be a major win for you as far as your, inbox and sending reputation goes. Clicks, opens, forwards, multiple clicks, multiple opens. These are really going to help you with your sending reputation. They're going to make it easier to get to your customers' inboxes. And it's just ultimately, you're going to connect people with the content that they want. And so, again, extra steps, but big differences when it comes down to the overall performance. And so email marketing being still the cheapest form of marketing that I'm aware of, especially in the digital space, we have to capitalize on this, and taking extra steps to make sure that you're doing this would really be beneficial to you. And so it's something that I highly recommend. And if you need ideas on segmentation, because there's so many different businesses out there, you can always reach out to us as well, and we'll try to help you out with something like that. And so with that, I would really like to just thank everyone for joining with me today. If anyone has not received or done validation before with our service, you're welcome to check 1,000 emails. This is something that we don't generally do, but I'm going to offer it here. And so all you do is just reach out to our support team, tell them you came from the conference, and they'll go ahead and add 1,000 emails or 1,000 validations to your account. And you'll be able to do that at any point and check them and get an idea of where your data lands. And you're also welcome to use our inbox tester for free, and as well as any other product that we offer. We have free versions of everything. And so again, I just want to really thank everyone for joining today and hope you enjoy the conference. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Click the agenda link at the top of your screen to choose your next session.